Ever since the creation of video games, one of the biggest ideas that some game developers had was adding a high level of difficulty to their creations. Many classic games had so many frustrating moments, such as Ninja Gaiden, due to how impossible it was. It was addictive, yet frustrating. However, a lot of games these days don't hold the same level of difficulty that some older games do, although there are some games that do. One series in particular stands out the most to me, and do you know what that is? Dark Souls, the game which has left millions of players sitting in a pool of their own tears since its release back in 2011. This monster of a game has eaten away at my life and left me with little to no reward for my efforts. It's like a bad dream that just won't stop. And do you know why? Because it's so fucking hard. It's as if you're going one-on-one with the mythical Hydra, slashing its heads off one by one and having two more replace it. It's insane. It's up there with the likes of Ghosts and Goblins, which is known to be one of the most difficult games of all time. Death after death after death, making hardly any progress, and you're not even at the first boss yet. Yet, there is something very addictive about it. This game isn't for the faint-hearted, and just knowing that this is one of the hardest games in existence entices me to play more.
Yeah, I love it. I love Dark Souls.
Smackers, shut up. This isn't a review on Dark Souls, you idiot. Ah, God, what the hell was that for? That hurt. Oh, good. Now tell them what the review's really about.
Now what this review is about is a little game called Bloodborne, made by FromSoftware.
FromSoftware?
Yes, that's right, FromSoftware.
So you mean the game is from a company called Software, right?
No, the company isn't simply called Software, it's called FromSoftware. Ugh, never mind. After FromSoftware released their beloved sequel to Dark Souls, simply titled Dark Souls 2 back in March 2014, they announced that they were creating a new game. A game that wasn't a part of the Souls series. A game that actually looked, well, incredible. At E3 2014, Bloodborne was announced, and less than 1 year later it was released. Yay! I held back on buying this game for the longest time because I thought, oh, it'll just be a Dark Souls reskin, but man was I wrong. Kinda. But anyway, I picked it up and man was I impressed. There's so much going for this game, I've barely put it down since I bought it. As soon as you start up the game, you're greeted by a man in a wheelchair in a dark, creepy building. He helps you out by performing a blood transfusion on your character to turn you into what's known as a hunter. What better thing to be on the night of the hunt, eh? After the man talks for a bit, you're swiftly flung into creating your character, where you have a ton of customizable options to choose from. I mean, holy shit! You can edit how big your character's cheekbones are, or how long the chin is. Hell, you can even make one eye red and one eye blue if you wanted. There's a lot of room for creativity here, but it's ruined by the fact that throughout the majority of the game, you won't even be able to see a character's face due to the third-person perspective and the fact that you'll be wearing a variety of headgear, which covers up your head or face, if you choose to. But by all means, go crazy. Create a monstrosity if you so choose. Maybe you'll fit in with the townspeople more that way. After you've made your spawn from hell, the atmosphere is set straight away with this demonic scene. Like, what the fuck is that? A nose! What is anything? Why does this lycanthrope burst into flames when it touches me, yet the in-game lycanthropes that you battle don't? Is it because of these little douches? Did they protect me? Why does this one's mouth look like a vagina? So many questions! Now I don't know about you guys, but that scene already makes me feel pumped into playing this game. Now this game focuses more on the elements of horror than previous games made by FromSoftware in this style. I mean, yeah, Dark Souls had its moments, but nothing like this shit. Throughout this game, you can definitely see that FromSoftware utilised the power of the PlayStation 4 very well. This game looks visually stunning, and there are a good variety of beautiful locations to boot. However, these locations do tend to blend together due to how dark and gothic each location is. In Dark Souls, I was able to differentiate the areas between each other, so I always knew where I was, but in Bloodborne it feels a lot more difficult. There are multiple pathways in this game that you can take. You have a choice between the main path and the side paths. The main path is the one that you follow to get to the end of the game and follow the storyline, and then there are side paths where you can explore to find new items, new enemies, and bosses that you cannot find by following the main routes. One of the most frustrating aspects of Dark Souls were the boss battles. Oh, don't even get me started on the boss battles. Some of them were so difficult, that you could have sworn that you must have fought them 100 times before you beat it, while some of them you beat in just a mere 10 tries. And trust me, 10 times fighting the same boss before winning is not unheard of in Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Along with the main boss battles in which you need to defeat to progress through the game, there are side boss battles. Now these side bosses, while difficult to defeat, yield rewards such as new items and weapons which you would not have normally been able to acquire. Good luck finding them all though without a walkthrough, as some of them are well hidden.
Going against the same bosses constantly, learning their patterns, learning what they do, and then putting what you've learned into practice is one of the most exciting parts of the whole game. Yes, the boss battles are incredibly hard, they're incredibly frustrating. I fought one of the bosses literally about 10 times before beating it, and I enjoyed the experience because, you know, without those boss battles I probably wouldn't like the game as much. Yes, the game itself is challenging, with the enemies running around, with them stopping you from going where you want to go, but the boss battles, man, the boss battles. Plus, the variety of bosses that you can find in this game. Wow! Like, there are some that look human, there are some that are gigantic towering beasts from hell, well they look like they're from hell, and then there's weird mushroom things, and then there's friggin... I don't even know, what is that? Look at it! I don't even know what that is! How can I describe what that is? The game doesn't get boring because you're countlessly coming across new enemies to fight as you go from location to location, and it's the same thing with the bosses.
The fact that the game developers gave us as players that freedom to veer off from the main story and go exploring the mysterious town of Yharnam is a really nice touch. Side paths, side bosses, items and weapons that we wouldn't have got before, it's great. Plus, what other game allows you to shove your fist in the pig's anus? Anyway, as you gain control of your new born-again hunter, you find yourself alone in that wacko doctor's clinic. And one of the first things you will notice is ghostly figures roaming around. These are other players residing in different worlds playing Bloodborne at the exact same time as you. But you can't interact with them unless you have another item called the Beckoning Bell, and at the cost of 1 insight you can call a player to your world. This usually means a player in the same area as you can answer the call and assist you, be it during a boss battle or just progressing through a difficult area. Across the town of Yharnam, you'll find red pools of what looks like blood on the floor, and when activated show how another player has died. Otherworldly players can also leave notes on the ground warning fellow gamers of threats, secrets and a plethora of other things. Some, however, are placed by the developers as tutorials, like this one which explains how to attack. Wait, attack? I don't even have a weapon, and why do I need to attack? Come to think of it, there's a lot of players who died around here. Oh shit, what the hell? Everybody, shut up. Maybe it's friendly. Good doggy. Oh shit, shit. Time to run. Maybe it'll let me go. Ah, of course not. Open the gate. Hurry up. Oh, it seems I'm suddenly invincible while opening doors or gates. Suck on that, lycanthrope. Oh crap! I'm sorry. Without a weapon, I'm dead. Why would they throw me into this sort of a fight without giving me a weapon? Come to think of it, I couldn't find a weapon anywhere before coming across this guy. I guess I better just accept my fate. Now, another thing I have to gripe about this game is the long-ass load times. Come on guys, this is next generation. PlayStation 4. I'm not kidding you, I haven't edited this loading screen one little bit. You see this every time you die, and you'll die a lot. Wait, a cutscene? Wait, a cutscene? You're kidding me. I was supposed to die? Well, fan-fucking-tastic. I wish I knew that earlier. Thanks, game. Love you too. This is Hunter's Dream. This is where you go when you die or when you activate a lamp, which are checkpoints that can be found throughout the game. This is where you upgrade your stats with blood echoes which you acquire from enemies and bosses that you defeat, but you can't talk to the doll to upgrade your stats until you gain your first point of insight. Now you gain insight from entering boss areas or using the Madman's Knowledge item, which are uncommon finds around the town of Yharnam. You can also upgrade your weapons in the workshop by using bloodstone shards, which can be acquired by killing little scurrying beasts, or sometimes from other enemies. There is quite a lot to do in Hunter's Dream, so I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm going to let you guys experience it for yourself. Also, don't forget to use chalices that you acquire in the game on these tombstones, because then you can play through additional dungeons and content in the game. And apparently there's a way to play multiplayer in them, but I'm not too sure on how to do that. Also in Hunter's Dream, you'll notice you come across your first selection of frigging weapons. Holy hell, I've just gone through stress and death, and the weapon was here. So you can pick that up and start using your weapons, and you get a choice of an axe, a saw, or a cane. And the different stats that you have to upgrade attribute to the power of different weapons depending on what you chose.
Hey, Smackers. Smackers!
Ah, oh, what? Oh, you done? Oh, you finished? Okay, so you finally finished. What would you rate this game? Well, Smackers, there's many different aspects of the game to rate, and just rating it in one is not good. Ah! Freaking... Ah! What was that for? Did I tell you to stand up? You little bitch.
Okay, sorry.
That's better.
So, to summarise and review, the controls are easy to get used to due to the fact that the actions are bonded to a button that makes sense, such as the R2 button being the right weapon attack, and the L2 button being the left-handed weapon attack. If you've played Dark Souls before, then you'll know that the buttons are actually quite similar in Bloodborne. Very fluent, very responsive. I give them an 8 out of 10. Now the story is relatively confusing at first if you don't know what's going on, but you can talk to NPCs throughout Yharnam and you can piece together bits and bobs of the story. It's something to do with aliens and some virus or some shit like that. I don't bloody know, it's hard to understand. Even I don't understand it completely yet. But from what I do understand, the story gets a 6 out of 10, just because it's aliens from space coming down and infecting everyone. It's kind of been done already, so... Graphics wise, I love the super gothic appearance of the game and how smooth and fluent the graphics actually are. There's little things in this game that really make me appreciate visuals in this game, such as the bloodstains on your coat. They look very glistening and shiny. They last on there for a while. It's like you've actually got real, wet, dripping blood on your jacket. The brighter sections of this game are also incredibly beautifully made. There is a very big contrast between the dark and the light sections of this game. And it's also a nice change to get to the brighter section. In fact, sometimes they take me by surprise quite a bit. I give the visuals a 7 out of 10, just because a lot of places do look very similar to each other, and it does get a bit confusing. When it comes to the sound in this game, the atmosphere expressed is brilliant. Sometimes it can be utterly silent and all you'll hear is your own footsteps, creeping along the town of Yharnam. And other times you'll randomly hear a baby crying when there's no baby there. Chilling. Not to mention the epic music during boss battles. The sound gets an easy 7 out of 10 for me. Now the gameplay has quite a lot of aspects to it which we've already touched upon as well. The variety of bosses, enemies, items, stuff like that, they're amazing. And whilst I haven't actually completed this game myself, the length of this game seems pretty hefty. I'd say you could probably complete the main story in possibly about 30 or more hours. So there's a lot of gameplay to be had, and there's also New Game Plus mode as well, where you keep your items and your levels, and you can play back through the game again against harder enemies and harder bosses. So there is a level of replayability in there as well. But when it comes to that 30 or more hours, it all depends on your skill level in the game. If you were really good, you could probably get through it quicker. So along with everything else that I've said in this review, the thrilling, on the edge of your seat addictive gameplay gets an 8 out of 10 from me. But that's just my opinion. It's up to you to play the game for yourself. But if you haven't played it, then I hope this review helps you decide whether it's worth the purchase or not. Did you find the game easier or harder than I did? Do you prefer Bloodborne or Dark Souls? Let me know down below what you think of this game. I'd love to hear from you. Also, considering this was my very first review of anything, please let me know in the comments if it was any good and what you thought of this as well. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, mates. Bye for now. Oh god! Oh, what the hell!
We can do this! No! I'm wasting all my lives on this level!
I guessed you'd be terrible, but I didn't expect you to be this terrible.
Sombra. What might this be? Ooh, this looks interesting.
No shit.